Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My dear students, I am Murad Chowdhury, Senior Lecturer, Department of Agriculture Studies, Milestone College, Uttara, Dhaka. Let's go for today's online lecture.
Chapter 2, this is the second lecture of this section, which is soil acidity and alkalinity, section 1. Today we will able to understand after watching this lecture, which is soil texture, its classification and its importance, then transformation of or conversion of soil texture. So first of all, we have to understand that what is the soil texture. Basically, if I give you the definition, which is soil texture is the relative percentage of sand, silt and clay particles in a soil. That means in a soil when sand, silt and clay present in a relative proportion, that is called soil texture. Texture is one of the main physical properties of the soil. So the other physical properties of soil depends upon its texture. So soil texture is the main physical properties. So before we cultivating any crop in the soil, we should know the soil texture. Soil texture classes. In US system, that means United States system, soil texture has been three classified common names, 5 textural groups and 12 textural classes, which is if you have a look the table, this table is very important, and you can get sometimes 2 marks questions in the creative. The question is like explain the soil texture classes in US system. So definitely you have to remember that this is US system, which is the common name. First one is sandy soil, 70% of sand, where textural class is coarse texture, and their soil textures classes will be sandy soil and loamy sand soil. Second one is loamy soil, common name. Textural group is medium coarse texture, where class is sandy loam soil. Next one is medium textures, where 3 classes, which is loam soil, silt to loam soil and silt soil. Next one is medium fine texture, where 3 classes, which is sandy clay loam soil, sandy clay loam, silty clay loam soil and clay loam soil. So loamy soils textural group is 3, and where this is the class. And last one is clay soil, the common name, and textural group is fine textures, where 3 class, which is sandy clay soil, silty clay soil, clay soil. So you have to memorize these classes because this one is very important for your creative question as well as for MCQ. Next, I'll describe why we need to know the soil texture. That means what is the importance of soil texture. Growth and development of plants are affected by soil texture. That means if you do not know the proper soil texture, then you are unable to cultivate the crop. You might cultivate the crop, but you will not get the proper or expected production. For instance, we know that groundnut cultivated in sandy soil very well, but if you cultivate groundnut in the clay soil, that will be not give you the proper production, because groundnut, it bears underneath the soil, that means near the root zone, but clay soil is not good. Same as potato. If you cultivate potato in the clay soil and in the submerged soil, that will be not good. That is why you need to know the soil texture, where here is say growth and development of plants are affected much by soil texture. Next one is it facilitates soil management. So before you cultivate any crop, you need to know the soil management. So if you do not know the soil texture, it's quite hard to manage the soil. It facilitates soil classification. Medium texture soils have good aeration and water absorption capacity. Fine texture soils have very high water holding capacity. So the medium texture soils have good aeration and water absorption capacity, like sandy soil but and silt soil. But fine texture soils have very high water holding capacity, like clay soil. Advantages and disadvantages of tillage can be known. For instance, we know that if you cultivated any crop in the sandy soil, we know that sandy soil is very friable, so you need a little bit less type of tillage. But in clay soil, that one that is dry, that one is very hard and strong, so that time clay soil need more tillage. So if you don't know the soil texture, then that will be not possible to understand the tillage operation. That is why I said that advantage and disadvantage of tillage can be known. That means sandy soil advantages and clay soil disadvantages of tillage. It can be provide information about soil fertility and productivity. For instance, we know that wheat can be cultivated in dry season and dry land, but rice cultivated in the submerged or wetland. So if you cultivate wheat in the wetland, that should be not good, and if you cultivate rice in the dry land, that will be not give you the proper production. That means you cannot say that that soil is not fertile. Next one is soil water absorption capacity and permeability can be known. That means if you know the soil texture, then you can understand that which water can hold what water maximum time, and which soil cannot water hold maximum time. That you can be understand by the know of soil texture. Then it helps to know the availability of plant nutrient elements, and even it's know when you know the soil texture, then you can easily understand the which soil have more plant nutrient elements. Fine textured soils release more cations. That means the soil is very fine, that will release more cations. Soil buffering and cation exchange capacity can be known as well. It helps to select crops, and it controls microbial activity in soil. So that is why, so more or less, the important thing is soil texture you need to know for cultivating any type of crops. If you do not know the soil texture, you are unable to or know the water holding capacity, the tillage operation, the pesticide operation, everything. So before you cultivating any type of crop, you need to know the soil texture. And at last, it helps to determine the quantity of irrigation water as well. Now the point is transformation conversion of soil texture. That means sometimes if you find that the soil is not good for any crop, that we can exchange or we can convert that soil into loamy soil, because we know that loamy soil is the best for all type of crop cultivation. So convert sandy or clay soil to loamy soil to suitable for cultivation. So this is the important I am talking about. Convert sandy or clay soil to loamy soil to suitable for cultivation, because we know that loamy soil is the best for all type of crop cultivation. But in sandy soil, not all type of crop can cultivation, and in clay soil, not all type of crop can cultivate. For instance, rice can cultivate it in clay soil very well, but potato cannot cultivate it in clay soil. That is why if we convert this one in the loamy soil, that will be good for cultivation and production will be getting very well. Increase the cultivable land. So if the land is less, that time it will increase the cultivable land. Increase overall production of agriculture. When you convert the soil, that time that will increase overall production of agriculture. Increase land price. When some land is fallow due to the different texture like sandy or clay, because that crop will not produce maximum crop or all type crops. That's why if you transfer that soil in loamy soil, that means that fallow land, that time it will increase the production as well as increase the land as well. Improve soil texture, that means when you convert sandy or clay soil to loamy soil, definitely that will improve the soil texture. Increase water holding capacity, that means when you convert the soil in the loamy soil, that time that water holding capacity definitely increase. Increase nutrient holding capacity, suppose you extend or transfer or convert the loamy soil, that will definitely increase the nutrient holding capacity. Improve soil physical, then chemical and organic quality as well. When you convert the soil from one soil to another soil, that is the loamy soil, that can easily improve the soil's physical, chemical and organic quality. And at last, soil become fertile because that soil produce all type of crops. So this is all about the importance of transformation or conversion of soil texture. So now I will discuss how we first transform or convert sandy soil into loamy soil. First we have to apply clay soil, because remember that loamy soil is the proportion of sandy and clay soil. So in the sandy soil, if we apply first clay soil, that will be little bit convert about in the loamy soil. Next, applying green manure, different type of green manure, for instance dhoincha. If we apply dhoincha in the field and mix up properly in the sandy soil, that will be convert in the loamy soil. Applying farmyard manure, first of all you have to know that what is farmyard manure. Farmyard manure, the manure which produced in the farmyard or in the farm, for example cow dung, poultry excreta, duck excreta, pigeon excreta, livestock excreta, this is called farmyard manure. If we apply this farmyard manure in the sandy soil and mix it up properly, that might be convert into loamy soil. Applying compost fertilizer, then applying vermicompost. So if we apply this all type of method step by step, that might be convert this sandy soil into loamy soil. But remember that the sandy soil will not convert 100% to loamy soil, but that will increase the production, increase the fertility, increase the soil texture, and 80% or 75% will be converted to the loamy soil. Next one is transformation of clay soil into loamy soil, that means convert clay soil to loamy soil. First one is apply sandy soil, because I told you before loamy soil is the proportion of clay soil and sandy soil generally. So that is why if that is clay soil, definitely we have to first mix the sandy soil properly. Applying green manure, again the dhoincha is the example of green manure. Cut it in the pieces and mix it up with the soil, and that will be might convert in the loamy soil. Next one is farmyard manure. I told you before, farmyard manure means the manure which produced in the farm, that means cow dung, poultry excreta, duck excreta, livestock excreta. This type of example is the farmyard manure. So mix that one with the clay soil properly. Compost fertilizer, get the compost fertilizer and mix it properly with the clay soil, then it will be supposed to be converted into loamy soil. However, last one is vermicompost, which is made from the earthworm. So get that one and mix it up with the clay soil and convert into loamy soil. I repeat again, it will not make the clay soil 100% to the loamy soil, but if we follow these steps one by one, that will give you the 70 to 80% conversion of clay soil to loamy soil. But it will definitely increase the soil texture, improve the soil texture, increase the production, improve the soil fertility as well. So this is all about today's lecture. So you can get this type of MCQ from this lecture, which is soil texture is the relative percentage of which particle, which is sand, silt and clay. And then creative questions like explain the soil texture classes for 2 marks. This one is very important.
My dear students, thank you very much for watching today's online lecture. If you got any problem, contact your subject teacher. They must help you, and stay safe and stay home. Thank you very much.